Number 10. The uncanny valley. You know that feeling when you see a robot with a face that looks almost human, but not quite? Or a CGI character in a movie that's so realistic it just feels wrong? That shiver of unease, that subtle feeling of revulsion, is your brain sounding a very quiet, very polite alarm bell. It's called the uncanny valley, and it's one of the most subtly creepy things your brain does. The science behind it is fascinatingly simple. Your brain has a highly specialized facial recognition system, a little internal filing cabinet that sorts everything it sees into human or not human. It's a survival mechanism that's been fine-tuned over millions of years. But when it sees something that has a human form, eyes, nose, mouth, but the details are just slightly off, it breaks the system. It's not a monster, but it's not a person either. Your brain is trying to categorize it, and the error message it sends back is a chilling, primal sense of dread. It's like a computer program crashing right as it loads a virus. It feels dangerous because, on some subconscious level, your brain thinks it's seeing a corpse or a diseased version of a human. It's not a fear of the unknown. It's a fear of something that is almost known, but just off enough to be terrifying. Number 9. The dark outside. It's late at night. You're home alone, sitting in your brightly lit living room. You glance at the window, and through the glass, you see nothing but a sea of inky blackness. You're safe, you're warm, and you're inside. So why does that deep, illogical part of your brain start whispering that something is out there? That the darkness is not empty, but full of eyes watching you? This is a feeling almost every one of us has experienced, a tiny, irrational fear that has nothing to do with rationality and everything to do with our evolutionary past. Millions of years ago, the darkness was an enemy. It was where predators lurked and dangers hid. Our ancestors didn't have floodlights, they had fire and instinct. And that instinct, that quiet internal voice that tells you the shadows are hiding something, is still rattling around in your brain. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, just a heads up, this is statistically the worst time to be a vulnerable primate. It's an ancient anxiety, a ghost in the machine of our modern minds, a testament to how even though we have doors and locks and ring cameras, we're still fundamentally scared of the dark, like a 5-year-old. Number 8. The sound of silence. Imagine being in a place that is so quiet, so devoid of all noise, that you can hear the blood rushing through your own ears. You start to hear the low hum of your own nervous system, the faint creak of your bones, the tiny pops and cracks of your eardrums. It should be peaceful, right? But for most of us, it's not. It's deeply unsettling. This isn't a normal fear. It's a primal sensory panic. Your brain is used to a constant stream of low-level data, the hum of an AC unit, the distant chatter of a conversation, the subtle background noise of the world. It uses this constant data to orient itself, to know that things are normal. When that input is suddenly cut off, your brain, in its own weird way, starts to freak out. It's like a computer that suddenly loses all its sensor data and thinks it's been unplugged from reality. It starts to make up its own noises, its own static, just to fill the void. It's a terrifying reminder that your brain is so dependent on external stimulation that when left completely alone, it can't trust its own senses and starts to feel like it's being erased. Number 7. The feeling of being watched. You're in a crowded room, minding your own business, when you get that weird, unmistakable tingle on the back of your neck. You just know someone is looking at you. You turn around, scan the crowd, and find nothing. This is a classic human glitch. It's that phantom sensation of being watched, a primal alarm bell that your brain loves to ring for no reason at all. Psychologists call it scopaesthesia, and it's a throwback to a time when being watched meant you were probably about to be lunch. Your brain is a hypervigilant security guard, constantly scanning the environment for threats. And because it's wired to prioritize faces and eyes above all else, it's constantly overcorrecting. It's a survival reflex that's on permanent high alert, even when you're just at the grocery store. It misfires, sending a "someone's watching" signal when it's just a trick of the light or a subconscious misinterpretation. The real creepy part is that your brain is so convinced of this phantom gaze that it can trigger a full-on fight-or-flight response, even when there's no actual threat. You're basically running a ghost detection app in your head, and it's constantly sending you false positives. Number 6. Disembodied voices. You're home alone, the house is quiet, and then you hear it. A faint, almost inaudible whisper calling your name. You freeze. Your heart pounds. You look around, but the house is empty. This isn't a scene from a horror movie, it's a fairly common psychological phenomenon. What you've experienced is a mild form of auditory pareidolia, where your brain, in its constant quest for patterns, finds human speech in random noise. The hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards, the static from an untuned radio. Your brain is so hardwired to hear voices that it will literally manufacture them out of thin air. It's a survival instinct gone haywire, a vestigial reflex from a time when hearing your name meant a friend or an enemy was approaching. The truly creepy part is how convincing it is. The voice sounds so real, so specific, that it sends a shiver down your spine, even though you know rationally that it's impossible. It's a testament to how your brain prioritizes human connection so highly that it would rather invent a ghost in the machine than deal with the uncomfortable silence. Number 5. Getting trapped. It's a fear we all share, even if we don't talk about it much. The thought of being in an elevator that gets stuck, a tunnel that collapses, or a small room with no way out. The sheer terror that comes with being trapped is one of the most powerful and primal anxieties we have. It's more than just claustrophobia. It's the horror of losing control. When we are trapped, we can't move, we can't escape, and we can't seek safety. This is against every biological imperative we have. Our ancient ancestors were built for movement, for flight, for finding new resources. When we're in a situation where we can't do any of that, the alarm bells in our brains don't just ring, they scream. Our nervous system is literally shouting at us to find a way out, to panic, to do something. It's the fear of losing our agency, of becoming a passive victim in our own story. And in a world where we spend so much time in small enclosed spaces, cars, offices, airplanes, this primal fear is always simmering just below the surface, waiting for the one moment where we feel that terrifying sense of utter helplessness. Number 4. That sinking feeling. You've gotten a terrible text message, or you're waiting for a doctor's call, and your stomach just drops. It's that instant, visceral sense of dread, the feeling that your internal organs have collectively decided to evacuate the premises. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a terrifying biological reality. That sinking feeling is your body throwing an emergency tantrum. It's triggered by your vagus nerve, a major highway that runs between your brain and your gut. When your brain senses a threat, a social rejection, a financial crisis, or even just a fleeting bad thought, it sends a panicked signal down this highway. Your digestive system, in response, hits the brakes. Your blood drains from your gut to your muscles to prepare for a fight-or-flight response, and the result is a sudden, gut-wrenching, hollow feeling. It's a primal physical manifestation of anxiety, a vestigial reflex from a time when a bad feeling in your stomach meant there was a tiger in the bushes. The creepy part? Your body is designed to have a full-blown internal panic attack before your brain can even consciously process why you're scared. Number 3. Empty spaces. Take a moment to imagine a huge, empty parking lot at midnight, or a completely abandoned silent playground. The scene is harmless, devoid of danger, but the sheer emptiness is deeply unsettling. Why? Because our brains hate a blank canvas. This isn't just about a fear of the dark, it's a fear of a lack of information. For millions of years, our brains evolved to be experts at pattern recognition. We looked for movement in the trees, a flicker of light on the horizon, or the telltale shape of a predator in the tall grass. Our survival depended on being able to find patterns and draw conclusions. But when we're in a place that is unnaturally empty and silent, our brains have no data to work with. They're like a detective who shows up to an empty crime scene. They don't just give up, they start to invent things. They fill the space with imagined threats, with whispers in the wind, and with the feeling that something, somewhere, is lurking just out of sight. The empty space is creepy, because our brains refuse to believe it's actually empty. Number 2, your own reflection. You're home alone, looking into a bathroom mirror in a dimly lit room. You've looked at your face a million times, but if you stare at it long enough, without blinking, something unsettling happens. Your reflection starts to feel wrong. Your face might seem to distort. Your features might seem to stretch, and you feel a shiver of dread as you realize you're staring at a stranger. This isn't a ghost story. It's a phenomenon called the troops of terror effect. It's a trick of the light and a weird cognitive glitch that exposes a flaw in your brain's processing. Your brain is used to seeing your reflection in motion. When it's static, unblinking, and in low light, it's a completely new, unsettling input. It's a different kind of uncanny valley, where your brain sees a perfect replica of you that's completely lifeless and motionless. It's a creepy internal bug where your brain tries to find a living being in the reflection, fails, and then in its panic starts filling in the blanks with distorted, nightmarish versions of your own face. The person staring back is you, but the brain has decided that you are a monster. Number 1. The possibility of nothing. We've all had that moment, usually late at night when you're all alone. You stop and think about the universe, about existence, and you get a sudden terrifying glimpse into the abyss. It's not a fear of dying. It's a fear of what comes before and after. The sheer, incomprehensible possibility of nothing. Our brains are built to find patterns, to create meaning, and to understand cause and effect. It's the engine of our survival. But when you contemplate the possibility of absolute non-existence, of a total vacuum of being, your brain's engine suddenly seizes up. It's the ultimate paradox, the end of all causality and meaning. It's a fear so profound and so primal that we have to invent gods, heavens, and reincarnation just to keep our brains from melting down. This isn't a physical fear of a predator or a monster. It's a philosophical fear that is only possible because we are self-aware. It's the ultimate creepy thought. The idea that the universe, and our consciousness, is just a random cosmic joke that one day, without reason or purpose, will simply end. And for a brief, horrifying moment, you get to feel what that truly means.